Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3, Knights of the Square Tablet. Your host, Strider the Champ here, joined as always by Coach Soder Dave and Scotty Games. And we finally got a Chivalry 2 update from the developers, so we have a lot to talk about tonight. And we're going to start with something that we haven't seen in a long time, developer transparency. All right, we got a pretty honest blog post here from our new community manager, Ari, I believe, made it.
Yeah,
And
yeah. He was in my
Yeah,
chat
maybe.
when I was reading it over and saying hello. So it's definitely Ari.
Yeah. Well, great to see. People have been asking what he's been doing for the last month or so. They wanted like instant communication since we haven't had any since Jen left. But apparently, he's been creating this blog post, and I thought the blog post was pretty good. It was honest and corporate speak a little bit, but I appreciate them actually talking to us.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought it was all right too. There's a few things though, like the crossbow, the siege crossbow stuff. Like I still feel like they tried to get it working, but then they didn't. I don't know if they're just like covering their ass but for the most part, I thought it was well written as well.
I thought the post was terrible, but it was made well. Whoever made it did a good job. So if Ari made it, good. But it was absolutely terrible, and all of the news that was reported on was terrible. But it was made
Dave,
well.
you didn't appreciate at all that they at least acknowledged stuff that the community has been saying
Yeah,
for
that's
months.
what I mean. I'm saying the actual news that we got sucked. Like it sucked really bad. But the way it was delivered and the transparency behind the messages, even though I don't think it was that transparent at all, it was significantly better than what we're used to. So for example, in that post they were like, "Hey, I know that you guys want Montcrux to be longer, right? But unfortunately, we're not going to make it longer." Now, the delivery of that is really good. Just explaining, "Hey, these are your thoughts. This is what we think about it. We're not going to do that." That's a good way to approach it, telling us what it is. But obviously, hearing that news sucks ass because the map sucks and we want it better.
Well-
So it is what it is. But I think good on them for actually saying no. I actually appreciate them telling me no.
Yeah, no, I appreciate honesty and transparency, and I would rather them say, "Look, okay, we hear what you guys are saying, and then maybe in the future they're not going to give us maps like that," than pulling like the Call of Duty and just double downing on, "No, this is the best map you've ever seen, and our player numbers tell us this," like one of those.
I think although they have to be careful with this, they don't get to say no to everything. In my opinion, they do have to satisfy us a little bit because over the last 3 years they haven't satisfied a single request from us. So I do think I think they're
just
obligated.
never come. Like they even were promising mod support, and it just
Yeah,
didn't. Even
well, I
fulfill,
don't think
in my
they
opinion.
promised that. I'll defend them there. They never promised
they
us
never
mod
did?
support,
Okay.
and they're not obligated to give it to us. So if they say they also said no to that, they're like, "You're not getting mod support."
Yeah,
Fine.
you're right. In December, we were supposed to get the private servers, right? Not the mod
Yeah,
support.
the
what it
worst,
was. Yeah.
the
You're
worst
right.
they said was that, or sorry, the most for mods they said was that they are open to it, but in this blog post they're directly saying no, we're not doing that. So it is what it is.
They said no time soon, which means
It's not
not at all,
happening.
probably. Yeah.
No.
Which I mean, look, that would be something great to get, but at this point in time, I feel like they're probably moving on to the next project and not gonna. I don't know if they see that as
Mm.
something that's gonna add too much life to the game. But they also did touch on the siege crossbow, which I know is a topic that's dear to Dave's heart because it's never worked and it's never been spoken about. It's just been like,
Yeah.
here's the siege crossbow. That's it.
Yeah,
Wipe our
they're
hands.
like, yeah,
Nobody
it's-
else cares about it. Like, obviously, it's a terrible weapon, and they should have never added it. But like, if the Messer came out and the overhead didn't work, people would be wiling. So the fact that this weapon has like one gimmick and it doesn't work is stupid. And the fact that it's taking over 3 months to fix is also stupid. And they should be ashamed about that.
And that's one of those things I feel like just a tweet the day after the update. All it takes is, hey, something went wrong. We're working on fixing it. It's going to take some time. We apologize. That's all it
Yeah,
needed.
it's also
makes
silly
me-
that
it
you
makes
have
me
to
think
pry
that-
that out of them. That
Yeah.
the fact that it's broken, like they don't say anything. And if you try and like pester them about it, hey, this is broken, complete radio silence.
And I feel like they maybe that he like at this point I'm like, did they even know it was broken until like a few months ago or something, because it's just like this blog post.
I tried to spam it down their throats. They wouldn't. They don't listen.
Yeah. There's no way like Dave and Sunder didn't have that going in the feedback section nonstop. But otherwise, yeah, so few people like probably used the weapon or cared about it that not necessarily. Let's say I didn't see it across the top of the Chivalry subreddit. Let's put it that way. But I mean, they had to have known.
Yeah. I mean, but it makes me think that like, just the way it was worded, it's just like, okay, well, it didn't work, and it never worked, and we couldn't get it to work, even though we said it was working.
The way they worded it, they claimed that they knew something was wrong, but that they just didn't communicate it to us, and they apologized for not doing that.
Look, I appreciate an apology.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Why not tell us that it's broken?
You think it could be like one of those situations like Jen left and everyone's like, oh, that ain't my job now. You know how corporate places
it
is.
honestly
I think their internal documentation is so like not organized that they have no idea what's going on, and they don't know one update from the other. So they just like don't even bother commenting on stuff like that because nobody in the office actually knows what's going on with certain updates to updates. Like if you ask like one of the devs what was the range of jab in 2.7, they will have no idea. And they have nothing written down to tell you that.
Yeah, that's actually concerning.
I remember when 2.8 came out, or one, I don't remember what update it was. They buffed the guitar by removing the stamina drain on block. And they said, removed it slightly or something like that. I said, how much did you remove it by? They said, I don't know. Like, can you ask someone? No.
I always assumed that that developers would like keep copies like filed on their servers of the old files of the game, right? Like I would have assumed each copy of the game that's ever been is copied somewhere, but apparently not.
I think it just depends on the developers, because like if you look at Path of Exile, for example, there's a guy that just knows like every minute detail in the world about the game, because he programs like most of the stuff for it, right? So mostly internal, like super deep knowledge, and he'll just rattle off about everything. And Shiv doesn't seem to maybe have that kind of guy.
I don't think Shiv has a guy in the studio that keeps everything consistent. They don't because they don't really have anybody there that really like, I don't know, plays the game like that. So they just don't have anyone that's knowledgeable there.
Well, they might not have anyone keeping the files, but they got to have someone who is like lives and breathes slashers, because they made this great combat system. So someone in there must have like, I mean, something like it wasn't just thrown together, right?
The value's got to be somewhere, and
he's in the basement working on the code.
They have a code base, so it's like it's not like they can't just go and look it up. I mean, they probably have repositories.
Let me ask you, Strata, do you know the creative director of Chivalry 2?
I have no idea. I know Connect, Mark, and Jen, and now Ari.
Okay, the combat designer is King Argon II. That's his username. Have you ever seen or heard a single word from him?
No, but I'm not like deep into
I only
Discord.
seen Argon the Younger in the game. But...
I'm deep in the community. I've never heard this guy in my life. I've never seen him in my life. He designed the combat completely, along with the help of the testers in the studio.
What a hero. What a hero.
Yeah, he did a very good job. And also, I think I fought him one time when I was in the internal testing group. He's pretty good.
I mean, I would assume he understands what's going on to make it, right?
But he is 0 Dark 30. You will never hear him. You will never see him. He basically doesn't exist. I think they should be proud. Whoever made that post should be proud. They did a good job on it. Even though all the news sucked, not getting mods, private server still no release date. All the new maps that are coming out are DIY recreations with old assets from old maps. Generally unimpressive, but the actual writing of it was done well.
I would rather receive communication of bad news than no communication at all. Like,
Agreed.
Treat me like an adult, and we'll be good to go.
Tell us if a feature is coming or not, please.
I think what I would like more, if they want to further improve, is they should actually explain the details behind decisions. So, for example, when cross progression was canceled, they're like, not within scope. Explain in detail why you could not achieve this feature. And same thing with the Siege crossbow. Oh, there was a miscommunication and we didn't let you guys know that it was broken. Explain in detail what led to that and how you're going to improve it in the future. And if they're not willing to share their internals, don't make mistakes, I guess. Like, it's really that simple.
We don't see much of this in NA, but apparently other regions are absolutely overrun with cheaters. I know this in all of my YouTube videos. People are always commenting about how there are cheaters everywhere. We don't see
It's
it.
mostly EU, yeah.
Yeah, mostly EU. And it's been ignored probably at least a year, I would say. I don't know how long it's been running rampant, but at least a year. Just radio silence. So I
Yeah,
was happy to
it's
see
bad.
them actually at least say, "Hey, we know this is a problem."
They also said that they're working on some kind of form of anti-cheat. I didn't know if
Mhm.
they meant they're building their own anti-cheat software, or are they building it into the
They're
game,
not
or
doing that.
yeah, like Solder, do you know anything about that? I was, because the
I'll
way it
tell
was
you this,
worded
it
sounded
is
like they're
this
building their
simple.
own software, but
As per usual, it's a pathetic reality. The Game Pass version of the game does not have anti-cheat. I don't know why. So you can install the Game Pass version of the game, use Cheat Engine. If you don't know what Cheat Engine is, it's an extremely popular software that's very easy to use and learn. And I can just go to my character, increase the stamina or health number or whatever I want to do. And the game has no software on that version of the game to prevent that from happening. Somebody contacted me the other day, said, "Hey, I'm hacking in the game. It was this easy. I turned on this, this, and this. Here's the download." By the way, Cheat Engine isn't like a hacking client or anything, despite its name. People use it all the time. I have it as well, especially for Dark Souls and stuff, so I can like unlock different things. It's pretty common, but hacking is incredibly easy in Chivalry 2 because the Game Pass version of the game doesn't care if you're hacking.
I've heard it's harder to ban the game passers because they could just make other accounts or something.
That too. In general, moderation is extremely low because they don't hire any new moderators. So manual banning of hackers is almost impossible. We don't necessarily know why that is. Little birdies tell me that Yurik, the head moderator, doesn't let anybody become moderator. If that's true, fuck that guy. I mean, just being honest, right? Like we haven't. All the moderators quit because the moderation team was apparently the devs were toxic to them or something, so they don't have anyone left. So we don't have manual bannings happening, besides one guy, Yurik, and the anti-cheat doesn't exist on the most popular version of the game. So we're screwed. Like that, it is what it is.
I'm hoping they come and drop the hammer. I hope this was like a hey, like just to let you guys know we're gonna be coming in hot. So I really hope this is something they take serious. And if it's such a common cheat engine used, I feel like it should be something pretty easy to just put out a mass ban wave on people. And I'll be
Um,
dying laughing when the degenerates have to pay another $5.99 for the game and are crying about it.
I mean, it would be easy if there was a anti-cheat, but there isn't. It's not like there's a poor one that's being bypassed by some trick. It just doesn't exist.
It just doesn't have, yeah.
And like, I mean, I don't think I have to tell you that, but that's unheard of for a multiplayer game to just not have anti-cheat.
Yeah.
So
I
it is what it
the
is.
fact that we've made it so long without one and it hasn't been like off the charts in NA at least is pretty crazy too. Because usually, whenever a game comes out that has nothing, it's
We're fairly
unplayable.
lucky in that Chivalry is not a game that people care about. I say that, I don't mean to be mean about that, but I mean there's no like ranked, there's no upping another player, particularly on a leaderboard. It just is you just play
there's not
Chivalry
a lot of
to
incentive to
exactly.
cheat. Yep.
You just play
No.
Chivalry to enjoy the game. Like there is no reason to play the game. So because of that, there's less incentive to hack on that than like I don't know, CS:GO or something like that.
No,
So
100%, or something where you can sell gold or whatever, and then people actually monetize it. So yeah, no, it's.
100%.
I think if you're hacking in Shiv, it just means you're a massive shitter or just an asshole in general.
Of course.
But they also came out with a code of conduct, which I guess we haven't had for the last few years. But I know
Yeah, I was like, this is like day one stuff, but like, who cares? Is it gonna stop
rules are more
anyone?
guidelines than rules.
I
but
think it gives them because they were talking about cheating, right, and banning people. So maybe it's another step to be like, all right, we need like just something to be like, okay, if you violate this stuff, it's just a stronger base to be able to ban people easier. Okay, here's our code of conduct. Instead of just randomly banning people now, people, have, or like people who are banning players have an easier way to be like, all right, you
violated number 7.
But to me, it's like I was like, Ari, I can't believe like this is happening now. Like I feel like this is like basic human, you know, etiquette on the internet.
Under new management.
Yeah.
I think what probably happened here is it's probably the cries about the cheaters and stuff have gotten so bad that they probably noticed people in other regions who are normal, upstanding citizens are stopping to play, whether it's from the cheating or whether it's from the general player behavior. Look, we know the slasher genre, left unsupervised, it's a cesspool, like the bottom demographic of humans. So when you're playing a game and people are speed hacking around, calling people the N word, like all stuff like that, people are going to stop playing. So I have the feeling that the code of conduct and the address of cheating is going to be because they want to drop the hammer, clean it up a little bit, and get some of those people back. Or they're going free to play and they want to get it all cleaned up before that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that could be nice.
I don't know.
Either way, I'm happy to see them at least taking some steps. Again, I know.
have no issue with it either. It's a decent code of conduct.
Look,
I have
every
no
game
issues.
has a code of conduct. They're all like, you don't need to read them, right? Just don't be an asshole. That's generally it, like common sense stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand how people have issues with any code of conduct. I've never, like, I really don't understand. I mean, I got banned in the official Discord, but nothing's ever happened to me in game. I've never been punished or anything like that. It's really not hard to not be an asshole. It's very easy.
Yeah, no, you would think, but apparently some people struggle with it. So here we are with the code of conduct a few years later. After talking about player conduct, the other big community issue has always been team swapping and matchmaking. We've been through this song and dance a million times, right? Game starts, 64 player TO. Coxwell attack, everyone switches to Mason. Then you have a bunch of game passers on the other team or people who don't know better who get the shit kicked out of them for the next 20 minutes. No fun for, well, I was going to say almost everyone involved, but I'm pretty sure the Masons are having a good time. But they are going to implement some sort of matchmaking system into the game.
Yeah, another thing that you would just see is just like, if you're playing with a group of buddies, so I'll play with like 2 other level 1000s sometimes, and then there'll be like 5 level 1000s on the other team, and then the next match will all be on the same team, and it's just like, if we had something to just prevent that, even though they didn't team swap or anything, like it'll just happen sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
it's
just random.
everyone.
So
yeah. So
this issue has gone on for so long, and although I do believe that it's a real issue, I also consider it a non-issue, and I think all of the fixes that they've made to attempt to combat the issue are completely ineffective. The issue at hand is just that good players stomp bad players, and all the good players gang up on all the bad players. This happens for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes you happen to play with more than 3 other friends. Oh well, I'm gonna stack. It is how it is. I don't want to play against my friends every game, so we're gonna stomp you. It's an unfortunate reality. I've said it a million times, they need to give those good players something else to do. And then maybe they won't just stomp good players. It's so easy to have such a big effect on Chivalry 2 because the time to kill is very long, so good players don't die. Unless it's like to archers and stuff.
That's something else to do for you would be like ranked. Is that what you're getting at?
Basically, because you're never going to get good players to not stomp the lobby. And this new fix that they have where it's like, oh, we're going to use your level to balance the team. Like, all that's going to do is make the level 1000s hate the game, because I think you guys would agree with me, level doesn't dictate skill. For every level 50 that's goated, there's a level 1000 that's just absolutely trash.
I don't think it doesn't indicate skill, but I think there's a correlation between time spent in game and how good someone is just naturally over time.
Yeah,
You're right, but there are diminishing returns. So
Yeah.
I would like to know how this equation works. Again, no details on anything.
So
we don't know how this is going to work.
The subreddit was up in arms that it was going to be like Apex Legends, Call of Duty skill-based matchmaking. I can guarantee it's not going to be that.
Most people are uneducated on skill-based matchmaking. What Call of Duty has is the casino skill-based matchmaking, where they balance wins and losses. They don't put every match on an equal playing field. They put your match on a scale, and you're either have an overwhelming advantage,
stomp or be stomped.
Exactly, right? So I'm actually confident in their ability to make an actual equally skilled matchmaking,
my,
but we don't have ranks.
I don't
My
even-
understanding of it was that it's just going to be based on like level. We're just going to roughly try to divide the levels kind of evenly on the team, and then however it goes, it goes.
I think
and
that's
which I'm
terrible.
fine with that.
I don't think
I have
they
no
need to
problem
go
with
that deep. They just need to be like, okay, if there's like 8 level of thousands on one team, like just split it up. But if they're in a party, maybe like they don't get split up. I don't know. I don't
Most
think it
of the
needs to be
stompers-
that in depth. I don't think they need to look at every stat and determine, okay, how many games have they won already. It just needs to be simple, like almost like a little bit of averaging of the levels, and that's it. It doesn't even have to be that intense. It could be like maybe it rearranges 10 people on the team. It doesn't.
I
Most
agree
of
with
the,
Scotty.
most
Like-
of the infamous stompers are groups of friends, right? So, for example, LK back in the day, everybody queue up, stomp the noobs because they're a friend group. And so, why are they not going to play together? How are you going to tell these guys to not play together? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not going to. It doesn't
See,
make any sense.
I disagree
that's
with you
what I
there,
was just
Dave,
saying
yeah.
is like, you know, it could take being in a party into account. I don't think that playing with friends is team stacking in particular.
Yeah,
I
I'm not,
mean,
look, I'm not saying you should team stack. Don't get
I
me wrong.
think I think
that they-
going into a lobby with 10 of your friends and just shit stomping people is just it's kind of cringe.
I
Like-
agree with
like,
you. I completely
I get
agree with
stream
you.
sniped quite a bit, right? So I'll generally have quite a few people in the lobby following me. But how it goes when I have people, it's whatever team you're on, you play on, and that's it. It puts you on a team and you
Look,
play. And I think that's a much
I
better.
agree with you, but I'm saying it's an inevitability that friends will want to play with friends. That's just basic logic that the friends are going to want to play with each other in their online video game, that they're going to want to be on the same team. And again, like I said, just because they're high level doesn't mean they're good. I think most of LK is dog shit. So they're all high level, all level 1000, all scrubs. And so now what's going to happen? Are they going to be put on the level with a bunch of level 5s? It's I don't understand how the math will work, and there's no explanation.
I think
and
this
I
is
don't
something
defend
that's
them.
like
but
we
I don't
need
think
to-
Team Stomp. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I interrupted, but I just think we need to see like a better plan. If they were like, okay, we're thinking of doing this for team stacking, they should have went into more depth on exactly their approach or what they were thinking. In
I agree.
blog
There's
posts.
no details on how it
Like,
works.
So we're just kind of like, if we have no idea what they're doing, we're just kind of throwing out opinions. But like,
They're not going to tell you how it works, though.
Well,
like, yeah. But I don't know.
It
have to
can't be a
see-
traditional like skill-based thing because they're not going to be able to get high-end players all in the same lobby. It's just not going to be a possibility.
They also have no measurement of skill. There's no like metric for skill. I mean, like you said, level of course means playtime. We're 2 or 3 years in, man. There's a ton of high level people who are dog water. It's just how it is because you just naturally continue to level up. And like I said, I'm not defending the team stackers. I don't think that what I said, like 8 people playing with each other on the same team, is a good thing. I don't play public matchmaking anymore. I don't do casual matchmaking. It makes me feel bad to beat up a bunch of noobs. I genuinely feel bad, so I don't ever do it. And but I'm just saying you can't expect them not to.
I mean, I do. I call people on it. You
You
know,
do,
you know
yeah.
how I am, like bitches.
Yeah, like I said, they should feel bad for seal clubbing, but I mean, it's an inevitability that friends are going to want to play with friends. And also, it's another inevitability. People don't want shitty teammates. People don't like it when they have to play with a shitter.
Well,
So.
Generally, if you're in 64, I can almost say 95% of the people in the lobby are shitters no matter what. So it doesn't matter that much. And those level 1000s in normal matchmaking, just by having time in the game, are generally at the top
Of
the
course.
board.
If they wanted
what do you
there's only
say,
two
Dave?
fixes.
David Scotty, in a normal TO lobby, there's generally maybe 4 good players in the lobby,
I agree.
6 max.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah,
generally
and
the
that's-
experience.
and
So
that's
after that,
why
it doesn't matter.
I think
you just
Solder
don't want
Dave-
all 6 of them on one team.
Yeah, exactly. I
So-
think Solder Dave wants like the perfect world, which we all want, but I think Strida and I are kind of on the side of, hey, we just need a little something because this is a big issue. Where Solder, I think your approach is more like, we're never going to get this perfectly down, so why?
Yeah, I think you're
why
never going to
do
get rid
it?
of team stacking unless you do 2 things, right? Either or both. 1, get rid of team switching completely outside of the first 30 seconds of the match.
Yeah,
right?
I could be down with that.
I
think
wouldn't
that's-
even let it in the first 30 seconds. Just get
There
rid
you
of
go.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got rid of team switching completely, then I would honestly be okay with that. It would kind of suck sometimes, but I would
think
be
people
willing
would
to take
leave.
that.
I think there would be a higher percentage of people leaving games and servers dropping. I
Then
think
that would be a problem with
thing.
the maps and the video game more than it is the
Yeah,
systems.
yeah,
Right? That wouldn't
exactly.
be would not be the fault of anything besides the dog shit side that they're
so
supposed to play.
so that they need to fix their maps. So to
Exactly,
fix
right? That's a whole other problem.
One fix at a time, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So you see these now
which they're
this-
not going to do. If they're
is it
not even
clear
going
how
to fix
this, like,
Mon Crux, they're not going to.
This skill-based matchmaking system is a band-aid on the larger problem. If I tell you, hey, this will fix skill-based matchmaking because it won't let them switch sides to the winning side mid-match, and you're telling me they're going to leave, that's totally nothing will work then. Literally nothing. And then
I mean,
option
they're going to leave before the match starts if they can't team swap within the first 30
Yeah, of
seconds.
course.
People
And
see
it's in
people see they
general-
got defense and be like, all right, I don't. Feel
Yeah,
like playing
exactly.
anymore.
That's
the-
what I meant. I didn't
the
mean
other,
mid-match or anything.
The other suggestion, feel like a broken record, is of course the ranked stuff, right? It doesn't have to be that impressive, but if you give the good players something to grind out, then they may not just noob stomp all day. And
Yeah, but the problem with that
Ranked
is,
is never coming to Shiv 2.
ranked,
I know.
One, ranked is never coming, and also players like me, I just really love TO. I'm not the players that love TO are gonna play TO, and just because there's a rank doesn't mean in particular that I'm gonna grind that out, because you can already kind of do that in duel servers. Like, you can find really good players, and everyone kind of knows where they're at with duels, and
completely reasonable. But there's a lot of extremely skilled players that would grind out LTS ranked.
Sure.
And I'm telling you that those are the people that make those lobbies unfun for those noobs. People like Fleeing Peon, Randy, Quasi, et cetera, they would, even if it took them away half the time. It's hard to say this, but like, the game's been out for an incredibly long time. These new players are never going to get better than the older players because they're not willing to commit thousands of hours to catch up. And so they will inevitably be cannon fodder and they won't have a chance at winning. And that's okay because we have different things that we can do to prevent them from getting completely obliterated all the time. But this system is a band-aid. It's not going to fix the problem completely.
I mean, I'm kind of for, though, like, if people put more time in the game, they should have more success. I think it's just, let's not just put 8 of them on one team. Let's kind of give everyone
exactly.
everyone
I don't know.
You want everyone to feel
people
like they can
not play the
contribute.
game,
Yeah.
to
You
tell
want
them
people to
because
feel
we're
like
too
they can
good?
contribute in lobby.
Yeah, I should clarify. I don't think that them implementing this thing is a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not going to have the desired effect. Just like the switches before, the changes they made to team switching did not have the desired effect, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it won't provide perfect balance, but I've never played a game who has had perfect balance in their matchmaking. So I think at least the
Dota.
attempt to
Maybe
me.
Dota's pretty good with the MMR.
Oh, okay,
system.
I've never played Dota. I've never played Dota.
It's
I
pretty
heard
good, though, but
I heard it takes an insane amount of time to learn. And I was like, nope, I'm good. But yeah, I think it doesn't need to be perfect. I think it just needs to more regularly provide balanced matches. And if you get that, maybe more people stick with defense a little bit. And like, it's not going to be like the case of, if I'm in a 64 lobby, I'm not going to run over into the same person 20 times where they're getting shit stomped. You know, I'll run into them 2 times a map, you know, get to kill everyone quite a bit, but you know, it adds up to kills. But it just makes it so they have more winnable fights. Again, if myself, Scotty, Dave, and 3 other savages are on the same team, just shit stomping them, it's a little bit worse than if it's 3 and 3.
Right.
We have the new update coming, and I think there could be some interesting things here. We know
We're getting
the
a
update
monk skin in FFA only.
Yes. Okay. So here's the deal with that. All right, I was excited by the screenshot. A monk with the quarterstaff. I'm sure Dave should be licking his chops, right? We've all talked. The quarterstaff makes no sense on the Crusader. Are we going to get it on the Vanguard or the Footman? Like something?
No.
You don't think so?
I think they're so stubborn. Like if they.
What is the skin for then with the quarterstaff?
It's for night.
It's a night skin?
Probably, but you won't find the answer until the update comes out because the devs are completely brain dead. They won't answer your simple question like that.
No, there's no way they could make that a night skin.
Why not?
But that's why it's only in FFA. That's why.
You think that's why? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I
Look,
mean, that's gonna destroy my hopes and dreams
if
here because I was like, that would be so cool.
if the devs went like, okay, we're gonna put quarterstaff on Man at Arms, I would be like, I forgive you, thank you, you guys are the best, and I would eat my words. But I've heard that everyone has told them this. Everyone told them it doesn't fit Knight, and they just don't care. All of their testers say, "Hey, this is weird. This doesn't belong on Knight." We all tell them it doesn't belong on Knight. They just don't give a shit. So
Well,
it is what it is.
it doesn't make sense because the whole playstyle about the weapon should be you come in close with the slashes and you get out of range with some speed or footwork or a dodge and then clunk them with an overhead.
They don't care.
And you can't do that really on the Crusader to
don't
the same
care.
extent. You got to face hug.
Pretty sure the description of the Crusaders like great offensive power with with heavy hitting weapons. Like
And here you are with a stick.
Whatever.
I mean, I hope so. They did it before with the greatsword. I don't know who like convinced them for greatsword knight, but we got to
whine
get
about
that person in the
Yeah.
office.
They could compromise easily by just having it on both. If they had it on my beloved Man at Arms and Crusader, why would I care, right? It'd be
There's no
completely
reason
fine.
not to, and then let the players dictate which way they want to play it.
They're stubborn, man. They're really stubborn.
We
They're just-
we know that, but it's a new side of Torn Baron. They communicated with us in this blog post, so
like I
never
said,
know.
I'll eat my words. If they decide, oh yeah, we're gonna do this now. Here you go. Thank you for telling us your feedback. What could I say? Like, what? I can't hate on them, but they gotta prove it. So
their game. Did you guys see the Messer skin?
I did.
It looked like a Urukai sword from Lord of the
Yo,
Rings.
it looks sick.
It
I know
kinda-
Scotty
kinda
likes Lord of the
dope.
Rings too.
It looks awesome. It looks kind of cool. It's cool. I don't know what else to say really, but I don't play Messer really, but I think it's cool. It looks sick.
I wanna see it
hope,
in
I
movement.
hope there's other cool skins. They've been doing a good job on skins and stuff, and I hope they have like a wider array. Last battle paths or last patch, they just like added the skins from Steam into Epic, and that was like sort of a cover for some of the skins that should have been in there. Maybe they should have had more variety, but
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't know. They always do a good job. They just need more across the board, and would be nice. But
Yeah, I think that's what the last battle pass. You got some really cool stuff, but you got like there was a lot to get to that cool stuff. Like I think we'd like to get to the point where everything was pretty cool. You know, like you feel like you're not just getting four different
Yeah,
reskins.
and with longsword, I have a choice: the Argon sword or the Rusty sword. I'm gonna pick Rusty every time.
I've been pushing Moon. I was like, we need the Strider's Angels longsword skin in the game. So I'm like, I got it all mapped out in the head. Like, let's make it happen. It'll be
Yeah,
sick.
I mean, skins don't really matter, but it's if they're gonna go free to play, they need probably a more extensive variety, maybe. But they have like what, 3 battle passes now. They're gonna have a 4th. Hopefully, this next one coming. I think the Templar armors and stuff were great looking.
They were
so,
great. Yeah.
I don't like this monk skin being FFA only though. I don't know. I don't like when skins are only for certain.
I
modes.
actually agree with that.
I think that's stupid. If like they shouldn't have the skin unless you can use it everywhere, especially if it's part of the battle pass where you have to purchase it. I think that's really stupid.
I'll defend them on that. And I'll tell you why. They want to keep a very strict aesthetic in the 64 player,
Yeah,
and they also want it to make it so like the classes are actually recognizable.
of course.
And
yeah.
I'm 90% sure that's a night skin. So if it is, I don't think it's good to have it in TO matches because it doesn't look like a night
Well,
skin
the
at all.
classes should be recognizable, but just to me, from a business perspective, why would you put out a skin that looks really cool? People are going to want the monk skin, but then 99% of the player base doesn't play
yeah,
free for all.
yeah. Like
So
no one's gonna use
who are you
it.
selling it to?
Unfortunately, this is like the reality we live in where cosmetics are done by character, not by loadout. And even though Chivalry has loadouts, it technically has characters. And it has 12 characters. Vanguard, Footman, Knight, Archer, and then times 3 for each faction. And now I guess times 4 if you count free for all only. So no matter where they add a skin, that's only going to be used by, in theory, 1/12 of the player base, or 1/4 if they play every game mode, every team.
Well, if free for all only, we're at 1/100th of the player base, so it's even worse odds.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I agree. They definitely, if I was there cooking in the studio, I just wouldn't have like made a skin that didn't look like the class that's for. I would have been like, oh, it's a night skin. Make sure there's a ton of plate armor, and then I would have been done with it. But let's just say like my artist made this on his free time or something and he was on off hours. And then he's like, hey, here you go, monk skin. I'd be like, okay, well, let me figure out how to implement this, and this is how I would implement it.
Craig says monk skin is just going to eat javelins.
Yeah, but if they paid a guy to make this, and he made something that's going to be extremely niche and stuff like that, kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's why I started the speculation on the Vanguard quarterstaff. Who knows? Maybe at least get the idea in their head.
Maybe. I doubt it.
They also so they have a new map coming. 3 new maps, actually. They said. I believe we know there's going to be new maps. But they released the Frozen Wreck, which it looks very much like the first stage of Aberfell. Not Aberfell. Theik, yeah. So it's going to be broken ice as you free for all. Could be god awful to play on. Could be hilarious. I don't know until I play it.
And it's team deathmatch in FFA, right? So I don't know. I'm not going to see it too often, probably. But
I don't play team deathmatch or FFA. Sure.
I never want to play team deathmatch again, but I do like FFA, so I do go in there from time to time.
If they made an LTS map, that would be cool. I would play that.
Okay, I was like, in my head, I was like, don't the free for all maps all become LTS ones? But I guess not.
So the patch is going to be called Duel of Fates, right? So
Duel of Fates,
and they're talking about the map where they're going to have VIP on VIP violence, I think, right? And that's why it's called the Duel of Fates. That's what
No, that's in 2.11.
Oh, that's in 11. I thought they said that 3 maps were coming in 2.10.
Yeah, they're all small nothing maps. The TO map is in 2.11.
So why is the next update called Duel of Fates then?
No, this current update that's coming is called Duel of Fates.
It's dueling based,
and it's not
dueling,
FATE. It's not FATE. It's FETES, which is like some random word that I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's French.
I was reading that. And I was like, how do I pronounce this on the stream?
You still pronounce it Fate.
Okay.
It's like, I looked it up. It just means like festivals and parties, I guess.
Okay.
So this is just,
and that's why it's a social map, even though it's just a dueling map.
Yes, exactly.
I was curious. So what do we think the social map is going to be like?
It's a duel yard.
It's just a duel yard. So it's just going to, you go into the duel yard and it's just, there's a map there.
And you duel. There might be fun mini games on the side like ring toss and...
Oh yeah, that's just what I want to go is hop into the ship and play some ring toss.
I'm not
Here's
joking.
a map you could throw poop on.
I was definitely the target audience for that game.
It's a map that's meant to be a fun, like enter and chill, like the duel yard is. The duel yard is relatively silly. You jump in there, no one's really trying to kill you. Obviously, you just duel whoever you want to.
I totally thought that a 64-man map was coming.
Yeah, tough cookies, buddy. And
it's coming soon.
The social aspect that they mentioned, I do get it. Chivalry is very unique in that it invented a sort of like culture on the server, like a lot of indie games do, where the dueling game mode is not a game mode, but rather like a sort of social rule set that people have developed on free-for-all. That's how duel servers came to be in the first Chivalry. And so I guess it's kind of like an expression, a celebration of that fact and how that came to be, which is cool. But of course, they didn't explain any of this to you, and they never will. So it's going to be a fun map with ring toss, probably.
Good times. I feel like Dave would probably be really good at ring toss.
What's the third map going to be? So we have the Theik-looking one, the social map, and then what was...
I have a good theory, but it's not, like, don't take it as confirmation. In the game files, there is yeah, I know. I got everything for you, Scotty. Right? It's bizarre, and it is a vertical slice of the Breach of Bodwin map where there's a bunch of cushions and, the market, and that will be an LTS / free-for-all / team deathmatch map.
Okay, so we're getting
What's the obsession with the Breach of Bodwin? I fucking hate that map. Desert, Breach of Bodwin.
Look, dude,
oh my god.
I don't know what to
hate
tell
the
you.
Breach of Bodwin. Like, That map.
I don't mind the Tunisian maps as much, but a lot of people do, and they quit a lot. They're like, oh, like even we were joking during our the War of the Thousands. People were just like, oh, time to go. It's a Tunisian map. Like
Yup,
everyone
100%. Like
dislikes it.
everyone's just immediately bitching in the chat. Let's just skip it. Point one.
Yeah,
Let's let the
I
D
don't
win
mind
point
it,
one.
but I can't control the community, so a lot of people don't like it, and but like I don't know. I think it's a huge bummer not getting that epic map that they promised that map like in December, I think too.
I've been a big defender of Tenosia ever since it dropped. Despite being one of their biggest haters, I defend Tenosia to the end. I like the maps.
Yeah, I don't mind him that much.
Yep, I like the maps. Enjoy the horses. Think they did a very good job, and I'm happy that we're getting more vertical slice maps. Because I think that they're very easy to make, and they should be pumping out like 20 of them an update. To be honest with you.
Well, we've talked about this before, and that's why I'm not mad about the first stage of Theik being reused, because this is an easy way to add some variety to some of the lesser played modes that haven't received much content. So, I mean, I'm all for it. I wish we were getting original stuff with it, like the 64-player TO map, but I agree they should continue. Almost every map in the game should be sliced down in some version for a free-for-all map.
I completely agree with you, and I don't know why they don't do it more often. It is so easy to do. The modders did Theik as an example. They made like a duel yard out of the last stage of Theik Stronghold, and it took them like a day. So it's like, I don't know why they don't just do that with every map. It's so easy.
Well, with our Galencourt update, we got the TDM map with it that used, many of the same assets, and I feel like that would make sense to me if you're releasing a TO map, release one side by side with it, made with the same assets.
Courtyard looks like Galencourt, but it isn't. So they had to like work a little harder.
Yeah, they definitely.
Yeah, so reusing assets to make an original map is like, that's a lot of work probably, right? That's not easy. Like Hippodrome, I'm sure took some guy a few weeks, even though it's a dog shit map. Took him a lot of hard work because he had to use all the different assets and place them in a creative way. But like, these maps that we're getting are literally like the portions of the map cut up. So it's like, I don't know what to say. I mean, they're not that hard to make. We're not stupid. They take a day. You could do one an update if you really wanted to.
And on the Hippodrome topic, I don't hate on them for Hippodrome because on paper, the idea of that map sounded so amazing. It just didn't wind up turning out to play all that fun. I don't know, just the horses and free for all. But on paper, the map sounded insane. I even love the intro on that map. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I think I'm the only person who uses it. Yeah, I think I'm the only person who uses that map for some of my events.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually forget that map exists.
Well, it's nowhere as far as I know. How do you even get it? Do you get it on 40 anymore?
It's 40-man server browser, I think, right?
I don't even think so.
It's not even there anymore?
I think you have to play free-for-all queue to get it.
Free-for-all?
It's not in free-for-all anymore.
It's not. I think you have to play.
They took it out a long time ago.
Maybe you have to do free-for-all server browser because they removed all the duels.
It's not in free-for-all server browser.
Then I have no idea where that map is, to be honest with you.
Because
I do know where it is. It's in the 40-player queue, and it's in the 40-player queue as Team Deathmatch.
Okay. Yeah, so when we went in that for my first time in like a year and a half, we didn't get Hippodromes. All right, gentlemen. I'm gonna head over to some Twitch and get some games in.
Yeah, have fun.
All right, boys. Love and thank you for joining me.